There's a sickening moment when you hear a fighter jet overhead, because you know that something terrible is going to happen. You know that it's near you, but you don't know where it's going to happen. You have no way of predicting, especially in Syria, where that bomb is going to fall. And then, of course, it drops, and there's just intense chaos in those moments. And carnage and devastation and every other word you can think of that doesn't begin to describe the horror of something like that.
I saw the image and I saw the video, and it just stopped me in my tracks, like I think it did anyone. According to activists, this is Omran. He lives with his mom, his dad, and his brother and his sister. Their home is inside Aleppo, Syria. It was hit by a bomb, an airstrike. It was particularly that moment when Omran is placed, he's in the ambulance, and he just rubs his hands kind of on the seat. And it gets me even now, because what strikes me is that is exactly what my little girl does. When you put her, and a lot of kids do, you put them in the big chair and they kind of rub their hands on the seat, just kind of experiencing their surroundings. This is a child, that is such a childlike thing to do, caught up in this chaos, and it just struck me like a lightning bolt. And I said that to my executive producer, and he said, "You have to say this on TV." 5 years of war, more than 250,000 people have lost their lives. That includes 4,500 children in Aleppo alone. You can get detached from the images that we cover and the stories that we cover. And the bombed out building after bombed out building after bombed out building, it can start losing its impact. And it made me angry. I might have lost the humanity of it until seeing Omran. And the best way to describe it is he just shook me awake again. At least 3 people were killed by this bomb in this neighborhood. This is Omran. He's alive. We wanted you to know. Since that segment has been viewed 2 million times on YouTube, I was also told it's even been viewed 27 million times on Just CNN's Facebook page. So clearly, something broke through. Omran's image, someone on TV showing genuine emotion, whatever it is, I don't care. I'm just happy that it broke through. But then here's the kicker, is what has been the follow-up? And sadly, very little.
I want to show you this picture.
Sure.
This went viral in August. This is a little boy, Omran Dakni, she's 5. I took that image and I thrust it under the nose of the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, and all he could say is, yes, it's a tragedy. And then he went on to say that we're just killing terrorists. And I'm like, well, actually, he's a civilian. His parents were civilians. What do you say to the civilians who are simply asking for the right to not be bombed? That is a war crime, sir.
Well, as I said, the war crimes must be investigated.
But what do you say to people? You can't create policy or create a wave of human feeling online and by social media. By that I mean that people think that by clicking on an image, somehow that's activism, or somehow that's a momentum of indignation, of anger, of anguish. It's not. It's just a click. And it lets our governments off the hook. And I think the lack of foreign correspondence in places like Aleppo has allowed governments to look away and to not step up to their responsibilities. I do believe that, and I feel very sad about that, because I think at the best of times, and when we do our jobs the best, we can make a difference for a better world.
I've been a war correspondent for more than 10 years. I have been to Iraq, Afghanistan, Gaza, and every terrible conflict that you can think of. I have never seen anything on the scale of Aleppo. There are no winners in Aleppo.